exploring the intersection of automotive passion and the industry that shapes our world. This is Rides and Real Estate. Welcome, viewers, to another episode. This is episode 3 in a brand new series called Rides and Real Estate. If you haven't watched episode 1 or 2 yet, please go back because there's a lot of cool information on there. I had a very special guest of mine by the name of Alex Tidstrom. He's my very first international client that I've ever done business with. He hails all the way from Sweden. He shared his cool story about his drifting car, his trucking businesses, and his energy drink business as well. Episode 2, we had another very special guest, John Vo, the man behind the camera. He's in charge of all the production of this podcast. He shared his story about his passion for cars and his his passion for content creation. Episode 3, which we are on today, I have another special guest. You guessed it. It's going to be a man by the name of Kenny Mclaurin, a guy that I've done business with for many, many years now in the real estate business. And by many, I just mean like 3.5. Pretty new in the real estate business so far, but I feel like I've come a long way. But in a lot of ways, being that I send Kenny a lot of my business, and we'll talk about what he does, by the way, we have essentially formed like an unofficial kind of business partnership, so to speak. So we're going to dive into a conversation with him a little bit later on in the show. But first, I want to kind of dig into the whole meta of this podcast, right? It's called Rides in Real Estate for a reason, and the catchphrase, kind of like it's. If you guys watch the beginning of this show, it's called exploring the intersection of automotive passion and the industry that shapes our world. So the industry that shapes our world is kind of like, it couldn't be more truer to say that because it literally shapes everything in our world. Wherever you're sitting right now, somebody owns that piece of land, and either someone's paying rent to run their business out of that shop or paying rent to live in that house. And that's real estate in a nutshell. That's how people build long-term wealth through real estate investing. Another example, if you guys ever watched the movie called The Founder, you guys ever heard of McDonald's Corporation? Well, if you didn't know, they're actually not a burger company. They're actually a real estate holding company in the sense that they own the land, and then a franchisee comes in to build their McDonald's on that piece of land, and then McDonald's collects the lease and all the franchise fees from that franchisee owner running their burger business. So if you didn't know, now you know. Publix is actually the same way too. Publix is as you know, if you live in the South, Publix is a very well-known grocery chain, and they have almost the same business format where they own the piece of land, they own the building, but they also have all the additional commercial spaces in there where they rent all that out to all the smaller businesses, whether it's a pet store, a nail salon, another food store, what have you. Publix is a real estate holding company. Again, real estate is all around us, and I think we all can relate to this podcast. Obviously, if you share a passion for cars and you have a passion or you're curious about real estate, obviously this is going to be a great show for you to listen to on a monthly basis, which going forward, we are going to have monthly drops on our full podcast episodes here on YouTube and podcasts and wherever else it is streaming. So with that being said, we're going to dive into the interview segment, and it's very informal, by the way. It's not going to be like he's interviewing for a job, or maybe he is, I don't know. But we have Kenny Mclaurin on the show, and glad to have you with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking about this for a while, and we finally made it happen, bro.
I'm glad to be here. It's something that I've been wanting to be a part of ever since I heard about it. I know we got lunch, and you were kind of describing what you wanted to do with it, and I was totally on board. And
dude, how long ago was that?
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got it going, so it's pretty cool to see.
Right. So we haven't announced like what exactly is it that you do, because obviously people know that we have had a long business relationship. So what's your title, man?
Before I get into that, I got to figure out what's going on with that mustache.
That's like the elephant in the room right now, I bet. Good question, man. I don't know. I just wanted a new look for 2024. Honestly, it'll probably give people another reason to like talk to me, you know, like an icebreaker kind of thing. Like being in sales and what I do, like having something that attracts people to you to talk to you about something, it's obviously it's going to help you get in the door with a lot of people.
I'm not hating. If I could, I would, but
why can't you, man?
It's white, so if I was to grow it out, you still wouldn't see it. Just like how my eyebrows, you could barely see those too.
You're like, it's like platinum blonde almost. I know. Is that your official hair color?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Ever since I moved to Florida.
So is it blonde all over? Platinum blonde all over?
You had to find out.
Oh, geez, I don't want to find out.
Fourth year of knowing me, maybe you'll find out.
Maybe we'll see. So yeah, I mean, going back to the initial question I asked you, what is it you do? Let people get to know you a little bit.
So I'm a home inspector. I've been inspecting homes and commercial real estate for going on 10 years now. It's been something that's been in my family for a long time. My father started a company back in 1994.
94.
And since then, I've just...
Is that when you were born?
93.
Okay, so
right away. But yeah, so I've been doing that for about 10 years. I moved from Michigan to Florida about 4 years ago, and then shortly after that, you and I met.
Yeah.
And we built a good relationship together. You've been extremely loyal, and honestly, looking back in our books, you've done more than anybody that we've worked with. So.
I think we talked about it off camera. Like, how many inspections have we done?
I think I was looking the other day just to make sure I was in the right number. I think we're at actually 35 or 36 throughout the
35, 36?
Period.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot, man.
And those are ones that are on the books. I feel like sometimes we've been at certain ones that are just walkthroughs, because we do investor walkthroughs also. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, you've done listings as well, because usually I mostly send you the buyer side. I work primarily with buyers, but being on the listing side is kind of an uncommon way to approach inspections, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that is?
I think that a lot of people don't necessarily want to know everything that's going on, even though,
they don't want to know until the buyer brings it up to their attention, kind of thing.
Yeah, because then you gotta document it, right? It's gotta be on a disclosure. So I'm not saying that's entirely the reason, but there's just so much moving parts going on when you are selling and getting ready to sell. So I think that's sometimes just an added stress. But what I do think is a good idea is a 4-point, so a pre-listing 4-point, so that way what's going to come up for insurance purposes. For those who don't know, in the state of Florida, obviously they require a 4-point inspection, which is HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and roof. Mm-hmm. And those items have to be in good shape in order for the insurance to be okay with everything going forward and for you to get a loan. Yeah,
if you have a 4-point, I mean, that's pretty much technically all you need to really be able to close on the house.
Yeah.
Unless you're cash. Like, cash is like,
And even cash, you probably still want insurance at that point, so it's just a good idea to do it. And, in this state, it's every 5 years, I believe, they reinstate. And sometimes they're just after a storm. They kind of want to get the details on the property. So
yeah. So, like, what's the craziest story you've had with an inspection? I'm sure you got many, but what one stands out? I know there's like at least one or two probably in your career, right?
Yeah, tons. Whether it be just running into craziness. A lot of my crazy stories were from Detroit, truthfully, not necessarily Tampa, but running into like deceased bodies at homes. That's been a thing.
And you've personally run into deceased bodies?
Like twice.
Oh my gosh.
I would say...
See John's face right now.
I would say construction-wise, just people, especially now, everyone's getting into investing in property, which is awesome. I love to see it, and it's a good way to become wealthy. But I think that it takes a lot of experience, and people don't necessarily fully understand some of it. And so they'll just take out, full-on load-bearing walls that are not allowed to be taken out, whether it be 1920s homes or what have you, that rely on that structure. And it's like, there's a difference between too much knowledge and basically getting down to like hate. Because when a buyer's coming in, they don't want to be it's like you explaining algebra to me. I don't necessarily get it that. Or you explaining how these Lexus motors are. I don't understand. I like to go fast. I like the adrenaline. But when it comes down to the motors and how they work, I have no clue.
Right.
But if you explain to me that this is a reliable motor and this is why, in simplistic terms, I'll get it a lot more, and I might even want to purchase a Lexus at one point. Right?
Here's an explanation for you right now. Lexus is basically a Toyota, and that's all you need to know.
and they're extremely reliable. I mean, as I know, Tundras, they don't die. So, that's it.
Speaking of Detroit, You must be pretty happy about the Lions, huh?
I'm extremely happy. I hate to say that though because I'm a bandwagon fan.
But you were from Detroit, right?
Yeah,
Michigan area.
Of
So like
Detroit.
you could say you're from there. So to be a bandwagon, it doesn't sound so bad because you were from there, you know.
Yeah, but I also cheered on the Bucks when they were winning.
True.
You're
You're there on the Brady bus.
Exactly.
And they won that Super Bowl the first year that was there. That was crazy, huh?
I know, that's crazy. I'm really hoping that the Lions get there.
I'm rooting for the Lions, man, because honestly, they beat the Bucks on a really great game, mind you. But I'm rooting for them just because of the story behind their success and, you know, not being in any playoffs for a long time.
No.
You know what I mean? And actually, that ties into real estate a little bit too, because I've seen an article recently where Detroit or Michigan real estate is actually starting to appreciate. Have you heard anything like that? Or
Yeah, I have. Finally, Detroit's coming back. It took a long time. I mean, you can still get houses for $5,000
Yeah,
in that
5,000.
area, but a lot of our generation, like our age, is starting to move into the city, and they like the city life a little bit more. So like
people from the burbs are coming in.
Yep, and people are putting money into that city finally. So it's really cool to see it. We, up until I left, we were doing inspections there
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
People were buying houses for $5,000 and flipping them for $100,000. Whereas when I came here, it was a rude awakening because people were paying
Price point wise.
$300,000 for a tear down, and then
Yeah.
putting in a multi-million-dollar property or whatever. Which that's not all of Florida. There's obviously still affordable parts.
Location is everything. Like I feel like Tampa Bay area is like headed the direction of where like California prices are in LA, Miami. Miami's crazy too, but I mean, just the average price point is going up quite a bit, and I feel like the only reason why that Tampa remains to be one of the most hottest markets is because Champion City, Tampa Bay. Speaking of sports, right? All the playoff teams made it. I mean, obviously that's not the only reason, but it's one of the many reasons why Tampa is very a desirable city, right?
It's amazing to see it, and I'm shocked that I picked this out of all areas because when I was moving to the state of Florida, everyone's like, "Oh, it's where you go to retire. It's slow, like good luck, slow pace." People in Tampa run circles around Midwestern boys myself, like when it comes to work ethic, and it's crazy to see how young it is and all the businesses coming in. It's just amazing. And like Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, that whole area. You go anywhere south of here, anywhere north of here, it starts to get follow its true name, a little bit on the older side.
Yeah. Sarasota, for example, is one of those cities.
Everywhere has been a good spot. I mean, this whole state's been really good to invest in, and I really wish I would have bought anywhere in this area as soon as I moved here.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can agree with you on that statement. If you had known where real estate was going to go in 2020, 2021, I would have bought like everything.
Well, I'm getting my ducks in a row too, hopefully soon. So I want to be purchasing something because I know it's just going to keep going up. I mean, I was looking at property in Dade City in like Brooksville, which is just obviously north of Tampa, 2 years ago, and it's doubled. And I know it's just going to keep going because Tampa's obviously expanding out. We're going to like Riverview, anywhere you can. It's just expanding out. So I think it's.
I mean, you're out there in the trenches. You have a lot of people that that are working with their hands and building up these properties, fixing and flipping. Like, where do you see the real estate market going in the Tampa Bay area?
I'm not just saying this because we live here, but because I do research, even though I'm not a real estate agent myself or really into that. But it's important to know where you want to put your money, and I think real estate's one of the biggest ways to invest and create wealth, and I think it's important. I want to create a family and have that for myself too, and I think one of the only ways to do that is to invest in real estate. So. I think about nothing but putting my money into Tampa and buying houses. I don't know if it necessarily be Tampa, but I
outskirts maybe a little bit.
For me.
Best bang for your buck, honestly.
Yeah, I want animals. I want to have animals. I got chickens already, so I want to have
you have chickens?
property. Yeah.
Have you named your chickens?
I did, but now there's so many. They've grown to their own personality, so their names have changed over time.
Oh, really?
Nice. But I'm in St. Petersburg, so it's funny because I live on a canal, so I got chickens in basically downtown St. Pete.
Are you worried about them just falling in the canal?
Luckily, I got a fence through there. The biggest thing I worry about is hawks. The hawks definitely get in there.
They lay eggs. Eggs every day. So
day.
You never have to pay for eggs anymore.
Not anymore. I got to pay for their grain, put grain and food out for them. But
nice.
Yeah, I get eggs every day. I should have brought you some actually. I'm
good on eggs for now. I just went to the store, but thank you. So talking a little bit more about your inspection business, like how many inspections have you done over your career?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I know a few months ago I was over the high fives, low sixes, 6,000. I know my dad's up in like 8,000 to 9,000.
So it's a pretty lucrative career. Like if you wanted to start in a home inspection business, what are the qualifications to do that?
It all varies per state. Michigan, you didn't even need a license, which is wild. You obviously do for insurance purposes. The state of Florida is very strict, so you do need a license. I would say 90% of this business is knowing how to talk to people and build relationships, and the other 10% is just having that knowledge and background of everything. And it's not all about, straight by the book.
Yeah.
Everything changes here, but...
So you've been doing illegal stuff before?
No, but when you come into something like that and you're so by the book, I mean, you really can cause massive issues because it's different everywhere. Like the guidelines that we go off of are really the same everywhere throughout the United States.
Pretty standard stuff.
Other than the fact that we get hurricanes and we got to do wind mitigations, but
yeah,
I mean. Like I said, simplistic terms, how I can describe something to you without obviously making you panic, and then educating you on that so you're not nervous about it. That's the biggest thing. And so it takes a lot of talent to do because, if I just spit all this knowledge at you, you're going to walk away and go, I'm not comfortable. Yeah. And that's not fair to anybody. And so we take a lot of pride in making sure that we're actually educating you. And even if you're not here, because we get a lot of out-of-state buyers. Right. We'll FaceTime, we'll call, we'll send the report, you can go over it, we can go over it together, and I'll take all the time in the world. Yeah. I answer my phone at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. It's important. So. I mean, I feel like more than half of the inspections that we have done together have been those remote buyers. So we give them the peace of mind that you exactly know what you're doing, you disclose everything that you found on the property. And your report, actually, you changed the way you make the report, which I actually like that. Yeah. It's a little bit more concise. You can download it. It's all there. Like it's pretty. Yeah, I like our new report style. It's very easy to read, whereas before it was a little outdated. And that's kind of important too with these in real estate in general. I mean, just making sure that you're evolving with the way it's moving. It's a lot of our generation buying now. Obviously, I include you in the generation. We're both in the almost 30, and so it's important to evolve because, like, even my father, when he started, he was. You would just go to the real estate offices. Well, no one goes there anymore. It's all remote. Right. So how do you get that? Like, I built my business all off Instagram. And so Instagram is huge. Like, even I think you've sent a few of your clients to my Instagram to, like, hey, check them out on there because I do educate on there. And it shows how I do things. So. I'm glad you mentioned the whole social media Instagram thing because I feel like your social media page is almost essentially like your resume. But it also shows how you are as a person. Like it can't just be all about business, right? Absolutely. So that's going to attract like-minded people who want to do business with you because they resonate with you. They share common interests, right? Yep. You don't want it all broken outlets and roofs, and nobody can really relate to that. And if they can, they're in the business themselves. So here's a proposal for you for your content. Okay. Some tips. You should post more of your motorcycle, man. I know. Like, you should get one of my, you should get the smart glasses that I have, the Ray-Bans, and just have at it, bro. I know, 100%. I know, and that's one of the biggest things that has created a lot of opportunity for me is just posting what I like to do, Harleys, anything adrenaline, being on the boat, wakeboarding, wake surfing, skateboarding. You and I have skated together. Skate video dropping soon. I know, for real. But yeah, no, it's important to diversify and actually connect with people, and I think relationships is relationships over like having a transaction. Like, I actually was taught that at the very beginning of my career with my mentors. Prioritize the relationship over the transaction, and the transaction will happen naturally. Like, even if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen eventually. Let's say I meet someone in public, and I genuinely have an interest in them, having conversation with them. And obviously the thing that I do for a living comes up in conversation. It's not the first thing that I talk about. But if I build trust, rapport with them, and then they find out that I do real estate, I'm like, oh, I like this guy. If I can do business with him, I'll send him all my peoples. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It's the way to do it. And it shows genuine. People can read that. I mean, it's just like when someone lies to you, you can see it. And it's like how genuine is this? Hey, I'm Kris. I do real estate. Exactly.
You got anybody that looking to buy or sell?
And it feels salesy, and immediately I forget.
Yeah. Immediately. Like, it's your guard's up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And how important has content played in your business?
It's everything. And sometimes when I'm making videos, you don't feel like, because not everyone engages and likes it and comments on it, but people do see it. And so remembering that people are seeing it and it is helping out. I mean, I just had this girl the other day. She found me off Instagram, and she doesn't do anything real estate wise, but like, she just saw how I did and how
she slid in the DMs.
But she saw how important it is to me. Like, I treat everybody like family. Like, even if something does go wrong, which things do, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm perfect and that things don't get caught up with us. But like, I'm there. I'm there. I got a business to withhold, and I got a name to protect. So there's been times where I show up at someone's house on a Sunday because they had a weird smell in their house, and they were just freaked out. So
did you find out what the smell was?
that was actually a new construction home.
No way.
I think I told you the story. The sewer never got connected, and there was just sewage for 6 months underneath the house, and it became a huge deal. But yeah, we figured it out afterwards because no one gets a sewer inspection on new construction. You don't think you have to.
But well, should we say what builder it was?
No. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that. But
what area was it?
Tampa.
That doesn't narrow it down, but it's fine.
It's actually one of the ones where they bought a house for $300,000 and knocked it down and built something new.
Oh, okay. So it's more of a private builder kind of thing. Gotcha.
Yeah, very small time builder.
So speaking about what you said earlier about, what was it? I lost my train of thought there. Content wise. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Like, I believe you came across my profile. I don't think it was the other way around.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's how we kind of built that relationship. At the time, too, I was actually working with another inspector, and he was referred to me by some other real estate agents. Did okay. And then, obviously, you came along. I was like, hey, maybe I'll give this guy a shot. He has great content. He's been very almost kind of relentless in trying to get my business. And so, gosh, who was the first do you remember the first client I sent you? I don't remember. I've done too many transactions. I guess that's a good problem to have, to forget how many transactions I've done. But yeah, ever since that, you've pretty much done every single one with the exception of a few because the buyer chose their own, or you weren't available, or blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But 95% of the inspections I feel like we've done.
Yeah, and I appreciate every single one because I'll treat them like family, and that's, like I said, the most important part. So.
So I don't know if you're willing to share this on camera, but let's say someone has enough work ethic just like yourself, like being a home inspector. How much kind of like income can you expect from that?
Oh, I don't mind sharing that on camera whatsoever. I don't stop, and so like
it fluctuates, right?
It fluctuates,
just like a real estate agent. It's up and down, has its slow seasons, busy seasons.
It does. So I will say Michigan was crazy because we were doing so much more when it came to the inspection side of things, and the prices were a lot lower. But when I came here, there's just a lot more going on when it comes to people wanting to invest. And so, honestly, when I first moved here, COVID had just happened, and so I was a little nervous. And then all of a sudden,
the boom happened.
Just went crazy.
It was insane.
It was dead for 2 months, and all of a sudden it was up. But consistently, even if you're a single inspector with nobody, you can, in this state at least, make $300,000 to $350,000 a year all day.
Gross income, right? Obviously, there's low overhead because
it's very low overhead. I mean, obviously, I chose a truck and a diesel truck at that, so most of my overhead is diesel.
Or diesel, diesel prices.
And then the software doesn't really cost me much of anything, and insurance is fairly cheap. So I mean, my overhead's close to nothing.
Damn, that's a lot, man. I need to switch to being a home inspector. Jeez.
I would say that not your average person is going to work like that. I mean, I'm working like that now because I want a family, and
you want to build that foundation, right?
Build a foundation. So. But I think diversifying in other things is important too.
Yeah, I know you have some side hustles going, right? Can you share one of your other side hustles or a few of them?
We own an asphalt company for seal coating, so we do that, and we also have basically it's like a marketing business where anybody that we work with vendor-wise can pay into it to be sent out to our CRM database and really get their name out there, because a lot of times they're asking you, who you know, whether it be contractors or anything of that matter. I don't care if it's where you get your nails done. I mean, you and I, being in the area and being in real estate, we get to know the area better than a lot of people very quickly too. And so we just have a lot of people in our back pocket, whether it's where to get the best steak or where to get your nails done or what HVAC guy you need. We pretty much have it in our phone. So we started a marketing business only because my phone was getting blown up so much that I couldn't even get to these people fast enough, and they weren't getting these reliable people that I do have. So I have a small fee these guys pay, and they're getting good people. So
nice.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have that other side hustle going too? Or it's...
Which one is that? Bring it up.
The trash collecting?
Yeah. So yeah,
is that still going?
It's still an active business, but I put that on the sidelines for now, just because I had so many other things going on. But and it's so hard that you got to delegate yourself and find the right people to take it on. And I won't do that with the inspection company. Anytime you work with me, you'll get me 100% of the time, unless I'm out of town. Then I have a couple guys that have their own inspection companies that'll work with me and for me, and we do the same thing, vice versa. We trust each other to take care of it. So
right. So let's bring the conversation back to cars, right? Okay. So we know you have a Harley. Yep. What's the story with that?
Honestly, I had a crop tracker before that, and I was constantly testing myself. I'm adrenaline all day long. Yeah. So I switched to a Harley because it's a little bit on the slower side, but I'm itching to go faster, so I'm always looking to upgrade something with that. And then I've always been interested in fast trucks. I'm a truck guy myself. I always tease you about beating you in a race, which we will have to do that.
Eventually, that'll be a future episode of the channel.
Yeah.
Drag racing with my guests.
I don't want to embarrass you, but I think I can take you.
What's the truck you got?
It's a 6.6 Duramax, and it's getting deleted and tuned today. So by Sunday, it'll be pushing 750 horse. For a truck that's 7,000 pounds, that'll do okay. I might have to do some trans.
Power to weight ratio. I think you're still at a disadvantage.
We'll see. It's all about.
Yeah. Well, the other car that's being worked on, I have a 2010 ISF. That's actually going to get tuned very soon. I just got aftermarket headers, custom exhaust, coilovers. It's going to be track ready soon. So I think I could take you in a drag race.
By the way, did you see that Shelby Cobra I sent you yesterday?
Yes, I did. You were surprised to hear that thing was making close to 1,900. I believe it, man.
I've never even heard of something like that.
A lot of those Mustangs make ridiculous power, man. Yeah.
Twin turbo.
Yeah.
I was almost like, hey.
I'm a big fan of American muscle, man, but I'm a huge Japanese car fan, enthusiast.
They're reliable, they're fast, they're fun, they're unique. Why not?
Yeah, they're unique. So we're gonna definitely drag race in the future, legally or illegally.
Yeah, whatever you want. I think probably legally. I've never been.
We can go to the track. Yeah, they have the track days over in Bradenton, and then they also have one in Clearwater.
How often do they have track days?
I think every week. I want to say at least weekly, so we could just pull up and just have at it.
Have you had your car dynoed at all?
No. I'm getting it tuned though, and then I will dyno it. Yeah, so it'll probably make, I don't know, close to 500, maybe just south of it. I don't know. Who knows?
So what does something like that weigh?
3,900 pounds ish.
We'll be pretty close. I mean,
power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
But then again, you're not on tires. You're on mud tires.
I'm on mud tires.
So that's a huge disadvantage.
What if I put street tires on for the race? Is that?
That's fair. That'd be fair. I'll put some nitrous on.
The only thing I don't think would be okay is switching from 37-inch mud tires to stock tires.
Your transmission might get messed up. So if that being said, maybe we won't do a dig race. We'll do a rolling race to be easier on your transmission. Yeah. How does that sound?
Although I've done 140 with 37s on it with my last truck. I think I told you that.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably go faster if you had street tires on there.
Yeah, and that was without a trans tune.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. He could talk the talk, but can he walk the walk?
That's right.
So Rising Real Estate, we obviously know we have people on the show that have a passion for cars, all things fast. They have their foot in the door with real estate as well. But the other unique aspect of the show is that we're going to be running laps in Gran Turismo 7 with a stock RCF going around the Nurburgring, which it's not the long Nurburgring. A lot of people may know what the Nurburgring is. Do you know what the Nurburgring is?
I don't.
It's a famous racetrack in Germany, But we're not doing the long one. We're doing the sprint road course, which is like sub 2 minute lap around the track. Very simple track. Makes good for short clips for the podcast. And we chose the RCF through the spinning wheel. And of all cars, it landed on the RCF, which is crazy to me still, because obviously people watching this know I'm a huge Lexus fan. The other cars we had on the spinning wheel, it was like what did we have? We had like a 240, Nissan 240. We had a Supra. We had, gosh, what other cars we had on there? A bunch of random sports cars. A Honda S2000. A bunch of random Japanese cars.
Did anyone ever witness the fact that it did land on it?
Oh yeah, we had it on video. It was the very first episode actually. Let me remind people. If you haven't watched episode 1, go back to when we spun the wheel. We spun the wheel. Alex was the guest, and it landed on the RCF. It was like RCF. I was like, oh my god.
It's just crazy.
Oh no, we have video proof, 100%. So people won't know that I'm just bullshitting for the sake of having a Lexus on the sim. But so let's remind everyone of the times, because each guest is going to have a time on the leaderboard. And let me look back at my notes here. So Alex, from episode number 1, he currently holds the record, which is interesting, right? He has a lot of like professional driving experience, so I think that's why he had a big advantage over us. He did a 144.669. That's the fastest time around the Nurburgring Sprint. I'm in second place right now, 146.8. And then the little asterisk on there, I did it in VR. So
it's a little harder. Right?
It's a little bit harder in VR because it's a little nauseating, and it's obviously like feels more realistic. Mm-hmm. Your depth perception is a little bit different. Obviously, it's more realistic, so it's a little more challenging. And I only had to do it in 3 laps. Since I have a lot of seat time in Gran Turismo, I gave myself a little bit of a handicap so that my guests can have a little bit more of an advantage. Especially someone for you like sub, you don't have any sim time. Basically none. So you can do it in VR if you want.
Oh,
No? Okay. Yeah. If you don't do VR, it's a little nauseating at first. So I wouldn't do that to you.
I did a VR roller coaster before, and I've never again.
Mm-hmm.
Never putting it on again.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I like the Harry Potter ride at Universal in Orlando. Never again, man.
Yeah, no.
Never again.
I've done that too. Yeah, exactly.
So the third time we have on the leaderboard with John, our second guest on the podcast, he did a 148.377. He did it on non-VR. The crazy story is those two guests, Alex and John, they had 5 laps to beat my time, which Alex obviously did it. John, he did one more lap after the 5th, and he beat my time. But it didn't count, so sorry, John.
Screw you.
So, Kenny, we're going to be looking to add you to the leaderboard here. So what kind of time do you think you're going to put up?
If I had to guess, just because I like to be confident, I'll probably be neck and neck 144. I think I have confidence with it.
144. Okay, that's a prediction. We're obviously going to cut to the we're going to cut to the racing segment here shortly, and then we'll come back and we'll have a conversation about it, and then have a gift for you at the end of the video as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, sir. So we're going to cut. Oh, wait, no, actually, yeah, we're good. We'll do the outro at the last clip. So cutting to the race segment in 3, 2, 1. All right. Go ahead and hit start. All right, Kenny. You're up. Do you want the brake lines, or you want to just do it all like realistic as hell?
Let's do realistic, but I want the car like that.
There you go. Kenny, thoughts after that?
Definitely harder than I thought, but you know what? Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you had more than 5 laps to put in your best time, I feel like you could have pretty much been there with the rest of us, which we'll go over the time, obviously. What do you think of the RCF?
Sweet. I think it revs out a little quick for my needs, but
yeah. So that's how you know that you might get dusted by an F, because that's the RCF is basically the coupe version of my car. Okay. Same engine, so just saying. Yeah, the RCF is Nurburgring. What do you think of the track?
Hard that turn when you're doing full speed and you got to come to a complete stop and do an S turn was way harder than it looks.
I feel like we should have another segment where it's the Daytona Speedway, the oval. So it's literally just going around in an oval.
Even then would be kind of hard because you got to, I guess, master like taking a turn without losing control 100%. And
True.
It's like gas brake kind of.
I mean, the going joke for NASCAR, man, and it's like, at least for the Speedway series, is that it's just I mean, mind you, there's a lot of science to drafting and stuff, and try to draft pull somebody. But overall, in my opinion, except for that NASCAR does a lot of road racing now too, which is cool. But the oval stuff, I can't get into it. Yeah, I prefer road course racing, man, with these GT3 cars. So let's get into the times. So there's a leaderboard. There are now 4 official times on the leaderboard, and Kenny's time sits at 1:50.286. Good enough for dead last.
Good enough for me, honestly. And you know what? At least I got out and did it. So.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to be the slowest by the time we're at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most average times are going to be in the 150s, 140s, give or take. So literally, it's going to come down to the tenths of the seconds for a lot of these race times. And actually, at the end of the year, when we finish Rides in Real Estate Season 1, the winner with the fastest time is going to get either some kind of prize, depending on the success of my career this year and the success of the show.
I would have done way better.
It's going to be, if you had knew there was money on the line, besides bragging rights, of course, you're probably going to get some kind of trophy, but there might be a little bit of monetary gain from that as well. I feel like I should have told you that.
Yeah, it's okay though. It probably would have put too much pressure on me. And
yeah. So the very last segment I want to do on the show, which is new, even though we're on episode 3, is the rapid fire segment. And it's pretty much this or that. I'm going to say something and you choose right off the rip without even thinking, whatever comes naturally. And from there, you can either explain why you make that choice or we can continue going. Okay? So, rapid fire segment, 3, 2, 1. Sports car or SUV?
Sports car.
Single family or townhouse?
Single family.
Podcast or self-help books?
Podcast.
Social media or door knocking for business?
Social media. Garage
Space or a stunning outdoor view?
Garage space.
Sim racing in VR or non-VR?
Non-VR.
Imports or domestics?
Import.
Okay. Taking a scenic drive or relaxing at home?
Scenic drive.
Home theater or state-of-the-art garage?
State-of-the-art garage.
Drag racing or circuit racing?
Drag.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Metal roof or shingle roof?
Metal.
Metal roof all day, right? I knew you were going to choose metal. Why is that?
They just typically last a lot longer, especially if you do a hot roof scenario. It's all day long. And insurance actually lets you have a lot more life than your average.
True. Insurance costs would be a little bit down. That's a big incentive for getting metal roof. But that pretty much sums it up for the show. Thank you, Kenny, for participating. It was definitely a pleasure having you. Let everyone know where they can find you on the grams and social medias and whatnot.
Yeah, everything's just at McLaurin Inspections. So whether there be underscore, I think it's McLaurin underscore inspections for Instagram, and everything else is just plain and simple.
And regardless, it's going to be in the show notes or description of this video, wherever you're watching or listening. This is Rise in Real Estate, where we explore the intersection of automotive passion and the industry that shapes our world. We'll see you guys on the next episode, guys. Peace.